Sorry, different programs call for different things. Wendy, let me know that we have a quorum, so we're ready to go ahead and proceed. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. You received a copy of the March minutes. Is there a motion on the minutes?
Sarah, I'll make a motion
we approve the minutes. I'm sorry, Hal, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Right. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we'll move on to the public comment period. We'll open it up to anyone who wants to make any comments. I'll give you 3 minutes to do so. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to Mr. Tillman for program funding updates.
All right. All right, good morning, Madam Chair and the board. Just want to share a few updates from the state before I get to that. A reminder to our JCPC programs about budget revisions. As you know, look at your third quarter accounting. If you were not in line with your projections, I would just remind all programs to the opportunity to do a budget revision to realign your budget with your actual expenditures and your projections through the end of the year. So just as a reminder, I know we have had one program that have already, Boys and Girls Club, have already submitted their budget revision, but this is just a friendly reminder. Also, this is to the JCPC board as well as to the programs of a virtual training opportunity that's being provided by the North Carolina Juvenile Services Association. They're having their spring conference, which is on Thursday, April 22nd from 8:30 to 12:15. They have a number of good speakers that'll be talking on various topics. So again, just wanted to remind you all about that training opportunity. And then lastly, I know we have, I know we mentioned at last month's meeting, the possibility of doing a new JCPC orientation and training. So I am flexible. I know I would like to do it if possible at your next May, after the May meeting. So at some point, Madam Chair, I guess just open it up to the board to see what is the pleasure of the board. But I'm flexible to do the new JCPC member orientation. What I would like to do is, in regards to funding, Madam Chair, just for a point of clarification, are you wanting me to, when you speak of funding, what is it that you're wanting me to do with? Do you want me to, I mean, everyone should have received the program, submitted program applications for funding for 21-22. Okay, I can share on my screen. I did a funding history as I did last year, and I can share it on my screen for you guys to see, and then we can just have some discussion about each program. So I need some guidance on how you want to pursue that, Madam Chair.
I believe that the presentations themselves are further down the agenda. But if there are any updates from the state in regards to funding sources, grants that might be available, that's kind of generally where we've always kept that. So
okay.
If you've got any updates from the state on funding, that would be a good. We'd love to have more.
No, ma'am. Other than the fact that you guys did advertise your request for the gang assessment. We have had a couple of inquiries. I know at least one, and I just got another inquiry earlier this week on it. So that seems to be going pretty good. And so at this point, I have no other information as far as fund. I know at some point the department will probably release some information about discretionary funds. And as you all know, every year, normally in April, May, if there's any leftover funds from final accounting from the previous years from final accounting refunds, the department gives JCPCs an opportunity to apply for discretionary funds. Now, with the discretionary funds, there are some restrictions for what those funds can be used for. But as we get more information, I'll share that with you guys. But at this point, I hadn't heard anything officially as to discretionary funds or when they will be, notifications will go out. But like I said, I will notify you guys as soon as I hear something. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Tillman? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to program reports. We'll start with STEP Center.
Share my screen for the presentation. Everybody can see that? Okay. So we start out with our psychological assessments. We did have one new psychological that was completed in March. So that brings us to being 2 for the year. Restitution, we started the month out with 9 individuals in the program. We got 4 new referrals. All 4 of them were admitted, and we had 4 terminations that were successful. So that left us with an actual payout of $2,179.09. We've served 26 youth so far in the restitution program area. Teen court, we still have not received any referrals for teen court for this year. We have not had any, sessions or anything like that. We're still waiting on getting some more information regarding when we can start back up with bringing kids into the courts right now. Going to Step to Success with the tutoring program, we started the month out with 12 youth in the program. We received 7 new referrals and we admitted 6 of them. We have an ending count of 17 currently right now. And I believe we just had a couple more kids start in the beginning of April. So that number is actually higher now. And for the STEP Center, if my computer wants to share it. The art program, we started with 1 youth in the program. And we had 5 admits from last month because the new program had just begun. So we have 6 individuals in that class right now. For Botman, we had 4. We have received 6 new referrals in that program for this month, and we admitted 5 individuals. So we had an ending count of 8. For Strengthening Families, we received 2 new referrals. We admitted 4 families, 4 individuals that are participating in that. And actually they are getting ready to, I think they have 1 more class and then they'll be finished. It's great to have the families being able to come back into the building and share a meal together. We're actually working with, it's 1 family, but it's 2 different units. So they're all related and it's been going really well. Transitions, we haven't seen any referrals in that program yet. And our substance abuse, we had a individual complete that program as well. So that's all we have as an update for the program area right now. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Yes, who's the referral source for the Strengthening Family program?
That is, one second, let me pull that up. That Strengthening Families referral was for from the schools. We had 1 from the school and 1 from an SRO officer.
Did you offer any virtual services with that program during the pandemic?
Yes, we did.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to Boys and Girls Club.
Good morning. The program report for March, we had a beginning count at 28 this month. We had 7 admissions. We had 3 terminated this month. 2 successful and 1 other termination. Our ending count was 38. We served 2 from the juvenile court, and 5 were referred through a parent and guardian or guardian. Our total served year to date as of now is 46. So we have met our program goal of 45. A couple of notes for the month of March. As I said, we had 2 successfully terminated from the program. We are seeing a consistent with attendance and work improving on decision-making skills and social skills. This month, we actually were focusing on learning the PERMA model, which focused on 5 core areas, elements of happiness and well-being. We continue to see a positive benefit from this program regarding youth that are, especially youth that are court referred, and youth are able to be more open about their situation using tools that they have learned to be more positive when it comes to daily interaction. I wanted to share this month, one of our terminations that was successful. I followed up with the youth's parent to see how things were going after the program ended. And one of the things that he had set for himself, a goal to work on, is doing things, taking initiative and doing things more on his own. And so I asked the father how that had been going, and he let me know that he had definitely seen a change with that. And he said he had started doing things around the house without being told to. And that was a big change for him because it was something that they really were struggling with. So we also were, we are excited to start our satellite site in Ramsor. So actually, this month, in the month of April, we were able to start that site. So we will continue operating our JCPC program at the Boys and Girls Club on Mondays, and also in Ramsor, and also virtually on Fridays. That is all I have. Any questions?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing no questions, we'll move on. Program agreement presentations. I do have to inform everybody, I've got to start court at 9:30, so I may need to slip out a few minutes before because we've got WebEx today and I've got to set that up. So if I can just jump out of order briefly, we do have, the May meeting is going to be very important. So if you guys aren't in attendance either on Zoom, if you can make sure that you submit your proxy in. We've got new member orientation after that. If you need a refresher and what SPEP and all these other acronyms mean, feel free to jump in on that meeting. Hopefully it won't be too long, but we've also got to vote on funding for the programs next month, vote on officers, and vote on the bylaws. So it's a pretty big meeting next month. So if you can't make it, if you would please make sure you send in your proxy. Okay, so I will turn it over to, let's start with the STEP Center first for program agreement presentations.
Just one question about the funding that you were saying and the voting on it. Ronald, I don't know if I'm reading policy wrong or not, but does that have to be completed before May 15th? The voting on that?
We just require, one of the things we require is that if possible, that we have the process completed by May 15th. We're fine. We're going to move at, go along with what you guys, JCPC, decided to do.
Okay, good. All right. So for our program agreements this year that we have proposed, you guys were sent them all in advance, and we're requesting $4,000 $412,000, $536 actually for programming and funding this year. I'm not asking to do anything different. We still want to be able to have the Step to Success program with the tutoring. We still want to have the teen court and restitution program, and in the STEP Center is the only changes that we want to make. What I'm asking to do is actually keep our BOTVIN, our art, our transition course, and our strengthening families. I want to add an additional program to the STEP Center, and that will be a structured program that would be offered to kids who are suspended and expelled from schools. Some research that I've been doing has shown that just in the 2019-2020 school year, Randolph County had over 200 suspensions, and Asheboro City Schools had 243 suspensions. As an alternative for those kids that are being suspended and expelled from school, it's concerning for us that those kids are having to do, they do online work by themselves. Some of them have the ability to go to an alternative area in the Asheboro City Schools. And we would like to be able to open up our doors to have a program that is a safe space for these kids to come to have help doing their schoolwork, but also be able to engage in more than just having schoolwork. And it would be a program where they would come Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We would provide all transportation for that. During those hours, they would be getting substance abuse education courses. They would be working on life skills classes. They would be receiving our art program, and they would also be receiving some mentoring with community figures. I spoke with the sheriff, and he wants to have himself and his people be involved in some mentoring for our youth in our program. And also they would be working on some independent living skills. Now, where I came up with that idea of being able to do that is because the reason why kids in our school districts have been being suspended and expelled from school are things that have to do with possession of controlled substances, possession of weapons, assault on school personnel, but possession of alcohol. And those three possessions are really what Randolph County is seeing in our schools here. So we would like to address those behaviors by offering these programs that address those as well. That is pretty much the funding in a nutshell in a condensed amount of time. But like I said, I'm asking for us to be able to offer more programming with the additional funding that we're requesting this year. Not asking for, funding of a position or anything like that. I'm just asking for you guys to allow us to be able to utilize the staff that we have here to implement more programs and have that staff that we have do that programming. Does anybody have any questions or anything about that? I did not receive any either questions, so I just wanted to let you know that as well, because I know that was what you had asked.
Yeah, I have one. So who did,
I've got a question, a comment. The substance abuse counselor.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Hal.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The substance abuse counselor that is a new position that's been filled, you have plans in your new program to expand that position. Is that correct?
Yes. So with our substance abuse, the county has funded a substance abuse education position, and we are working with the state right now. We have a second interview next week in order to obtain our license with the state so we can do one-on-one and group counseling with those individuals. The importance of that substance abuse counselor position is going to be, actually, we're going to expand that to be able to have that person facilitate additional resources and research different resources for individuals that are brought to our attention by law enforcement and EMS and DSS for when they get, on calls that have kids in the home. They can then let us know, and we can reach out to them and provide different referral sources for them that the community has.
Now, am I correct in understanding what this would expand your ability to look at prevention before they're actually in a court system?
Absolutely. It would be working on more preventative issues that we have and that we're seeing. I've been to a lot of different meetings that the community has held, different community members have held. There was a meeting on the east side of Asheboro with the community themselves, and they were voicing their concerns of not having enough prevention services, and just the fact that they didn't have enough referral sources. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to access it. They had a lot of police presence, but they didn't know, they just wanted somebody to help them basically. And their concern was with the juveniles because there's been so much, juvenile crime in that area in the past month.
Thank you, Pam.
David, did you have a question?
Yes. Why would we use state funding for a service that is provided through mental health?
Which service are you referring to?
Substance abuse treatment.
So you guys don't actually fund that. The county pays for that position. What I'm asking for in the day program for the kids that are suspended and expelled is to be able to use a substance abuse education course. So that wouldn't be the treatment. That would just be education courses, kind of like what, DARE is and what some of the life skills courses touch on.
So would juvenile justice use the new program that you mentioned regarding juveniles attending when they're suspended? Would we use that program?
Absolutely. A lot of kids who are involved in the juvenile justice system have been suspended and expelled from school. So this would be able to have them have a safe place to come to receive all of these services with the help with their schoolwork and stuff during those school hours that they would be missing normally. So they're not just, a lot of kids that are suspended are left unsupervised. Their parents are working, and this would be a safe alternative for them to attend to get all that stuff done and have those needs met.
So did you consult with anyone from juvenile justice to see if that was a program that we felt was needed or we would support?
No, I did not.
I say that because and this is for all the programs, because ever since we got the additional funding from the state for during Raise the Age, I have been adamant about 16, 17, 18-year-olds. That's what the money was designed for. And I've been adamant that vocational programming for these youth is something that we really hope to one day have an agency to come before us and say that they can provide. And I know that there were some preliminary discussions with folks at the step centers. There's been some turnover since then, but that's the reason I asked.
No, I definitely appreciate that that concern and what you question about. And I'm kind of under the impression too that the JCPC board, when we all come together, there's a lot of people that bring different areas or different expertise from different areas. And that's when I thought that we should be discussing those concerns as a group in what your area of expertise is. So, we have DSS that can express what they're seeing. Have got you that can express what you're seeing in your area. The schools can express what they're seeing. And, and we have, we have law enforcement on here. We've got a lot of mental health and substance abuse, and everybody can kind of bring those ideas to the table to say, these are the programmings that we're looking for. Vocational training is an excellent idea, and I would love to be able to implement that even into the day program that I'm speaking about, adding another, curriculum to that. And I definitely agree with you that that's something that our area needs. So I'm definitely open to being able to have more discussions surrounding that and seeing where we can implement to kind of meet that need as well.
So I have one quick question. In this program that you're looking at for students that have been suspended, if we are already funding a substance abuse counselor, could that person not work in that program so that funds could be saved?
Well, the county is funding the substance abuse position.
Exactly. And
Right.
I'm just thinking, if one of the things that that I'm trying to learn as a commissioner is how not to have like double funding. So even though you have two funding sources, if you can meet a need with what you're getting from one source, then that frees up money in another area to be, from another source to be used in different ways. And so I was just thinking, if you've got this position and what they do is substance abuse, and these suspended students, a lot of them are being suspended because of those types of issues, then it seems like a good use for this counselor would be, spending some time in this program, and then it would cut down on the amount of money that you need to ask for that program from the state. Am I making that clear?
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
Yes. So, as far as I know, we want to be able to do treatment in our facility for individuals that have substance abuse issues. I know that after speaking with David regarding his kids, we can't necessarily do treatment on his kids because they have an agreement with another agency to do those assessments and the treatment. So his kids are able to use the education piece. So that's why I wanted to include the education piece in that day program. So his kids would be able to engage in those services. And then kids that need substance abuse counseling can get that outside of this program because it's a separate program.
Okay. So I think what you're saying in a roundabout way, the substance abuse counselor cannot do education.
The substance abuse counselor can do education. However, that substance abuse counselor would not be able to do counseling during this day program.
Right. Okay.
Other questions?
Yes, I'll comment first. I'll just first say that you're right with your statement earlier that when we have our council meetings, it's an opportunity for those sitting around the table to bring up ideas of what they're seeing. But I've been the consistent voice to say what I'm seeing. So, and what that need is. Two, the priority to serve is juvenile justice involved youth. Now, but the question is regarding the numbers and the projections. Strengthen the psychologicals. We've had 2 psychologicals that's been done all year. And I can tell you that number is going to be consistent moving forward. So I would suggest, and this is things that we could talk about at the fund committee, but this is for the whole council. That number of 14, to be on the safe side, can be cut in half to 7. We will not have those. We don't have the need for those anymore because the Eckerd Camp and out-of-home placement used to require psychologicals to be placed there, and that is not a requirement anymore. I'm not sure whether y'all receive referrals for psychologicals from anyone else. So that's something that the council will need to consider if other folks might have that need. Juvenile justice wouldn't.
David, I will say this. I don't know, they've changed the law and the case law has come down that juveniles in the juvenile services prior to any disposition that we do, if there's any question of mental health issues, they are required to have a psychological evaluation done prior. Additionally, case law has come down that those need to be updated every 6 months. So I don't know if that changes our position, but I don't know if our kids are getting it every 6 months. I'll say that.
I can share with you that there there's discussion, and I'm definitely not gonna try to debate the law with you, but that there's discussion about whether that's a forensic assessment or a clinical comprehensive assessment to meet the juvenile's needs, and that the Juvenile Justice Substance Abuse Mental Health Partnership would be the go-to for those assessments. I don't know that it would rise.
So you're saying that the referrals that the court counselors make prior, okay. So what you're saying is that the referrals that the court counselors make prior to deposition or disposition, excuse me, getting my legal terms confused this morning. I hadn't had enough caffeine. Disposition, those go to another agency, not the psychological evaluations.
That's correct.
Great. Okay. All right. That makes more sense to me. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Sarah, I have a question regarding the psychologicals. My understanding was those were specifically for the DJJ involved kids. Is that in fact the case? Or can outside sources refer for those?
Was that a question for me or for Pam?
For anybody, like that's what I just need some clarification on, because I was thinking all along that those are specifically for DJJ involved youth.
That is also what I have been under the impression.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay. If you have any other comments or questions, feel free to email those to Pam. If you want to include the entire committee, you can just hit the reply all on one of Wendy's emails. Otherwise, we'll move forward to Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate the opportunity to talk today. I'm Floyd Johnson, President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater High Point, and we're coming today to request funding, JCPC funding of $51,723. Total funding is $68,423. We're proposing to operate the same program as our currently funded one. Positive Action is an evidence-based program that has been cited and recommended as a best practice model for several youth-related issues such as truancy, bullying, substance abuse, and other delinquency-related issues. We're not requesting any increased funding from JCPC to operate this program of what is currently allocated. We're also not requesting any county funding match for the matching. We are providing over $16,000 in the matching funds that will be secured through the efforts of our Ashboro Advisory Board and the staff. We will continue to build upon our success we have achieved thus far and recruit JCPC participants from referral agencies such as courts, schools, DSS, and law enforcement. Our participants will be tracked for 16 weeks in NC Allies, and we will communicate regularly with our referral agencies. Our referrals will also receive a one-year membership to Boys and Girls Clubs and can attend as often as they choose, even after termination from the program. We have worked hard throughout this crazy pandemic-filled fiscal year to reach our goal of serving 45 youth. To date, we've enrolled 46, surpassing our goal. We've secured one satellite location to provide programming at the town of Ramseur. Abby mentioned that earlier. And we've also discussed creating a second satellite site at the town of Randleman with Greg Patton. He was great enough. He was not kind enough to take us on a tour one day. And it was great to see all the potential resources they have over there. And we'll pursue this more fully with successful award of the 21-22 funding. We're also encouraged that the majority of our Positive Action participants are attending and participating in other programs. We want them to take advantage of our programs and academic success. Since the pandemic started, we've been open full days, and we've hired certified teachers to come and help with tutoring. And we have remote access and availability. We have enhanced Wi-Fi capacity. We've paid for that. And we've also purchased new Chromebooks for all of our kids to use if they don't have a device. Our good character and citizenship programs they promote leadership and volunteerism in the community. In our healthy lifestyles area, these are programs that address drug prevention, exercise, healthy eating habits. And we also offer an evening meal. We offer a hot meal and a snack every day as part of our after school feeding program. So kids who come to our program for Positive Action can also receive every service that we have. So I just wanted to close by just say thank you for funding our program for this year. We believe we have developed a strong foundation from which we can grow and serve more youth across Randolph County. At this point, I would take any questions.
I have a question, Floyd, and
Yes, sir.
Pam also. Are there any services that are being duplicated between the Step Center and the Boys and Girls Club? Any duplication of services? Pam?
Okay.
Or Floyd?
I was just going to say, to my knowledge, I believe Pam and Step Center probably have a lot more of the psychological components and different therapy related models. Our programs are more on the prevention side. I would say, for instance, our Smart Moves program is a drug prevention program. It's not funded through JCPC, but it's a Boys and Girls Club model that really focuses on abstinence-based messaging around and positive body image and those kind of things. So we work on peer pressure. So we have programs that any of our staff can operate, but as far as we don't have, psychologists, or we don't have any kind of licensed counselor on our staff at that point.
I think so the programming that the Boys and Girls Club has and the programming that we have, they're similar in the effect that they teach life skills, and that they do a tutoring area. And then I think both programs touch on the prevention piece of it in their modules that they use. They're all evidence-based curriculums, as well as what the Boys and Girls Club have. So they are very similar to the services that they deliver. It's more of the delivery, I guess the delivery method may be a little bit different. So I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah, for now.
I was gonna make a comment just real quick. I have seen a lot of participants in the program this year, specifically juvenile justice referred youth that use both of our services. So there is definitely have been some instances where I've worked with a family that goes to the Step Center right after the program is offered, and working around that schedule to get those services for that youth.
What is the target age of youth you serve, or what age range do you serve?
We serve between the ages of 6 and 18, so any boy or girl in school age primarily.
And do you offer any transportation at this point?
We do. We do provide transportation. We actually have a bus down there, and we've discussed making sure we always have a bus. We have a small 14 passenger, but we also have a 45 passenger up here that we can transfer down there to do our regular routes that would normally, we do some after school pickups at some of the sites in Asheboro. And so that way we would be able to reserve a vehicle just for JCPC kids.
Do you do any gang prevention training in Boys and Girls Club?
We have one program called Street Smart that talks about kind of some gang prevention. It doesn't go real deep in what we currently offer. Now, we did, there's a model that I've ran in other Boys and Girls Clubs called targeted outreach, gang prevention through targeted outreach, where Courts have referred kids to this program for about a year, and then we've tracked them, similar to what JCPC tracks, but it's that model's still available. We don't do it here right now at this present time.
I don't know if I can ask Floyd a question, but I have a question about your transportation. Do you transport to kids anywhere in Randolph County, or do they have to be around the surrounding area of where the club is?
Right now, we're referring from anywhere. We've taken some from the Ram Sewer area. We've taken some from Randleman, and other parts. So wherever they're referred, we work out transportation with them.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question. This is Brenda Goss. I have a question in regards to the projected budgets from each of the programs. And it appears that what has been requested by those two programs exceeds the total amount that we as a council have allotted. And so I guess my question is, would those programs need to look at as far as any adjustments, because it looks like it's over that 51,723 to be able to come back to the council to present, or do we as a council then discuss that at the next meeting?
I can only speak for Boys and Girls Club here. We've not asked for an increase. This is what we're currently funded this fiscal year. And we just left it at that level. Of course, we will abide by any funding decision that the council makes with that. So, but I think that might be something that as a council, you all would determine what funding levels for the programs.
It appears that the STEP Center has about a $50,000 increase in their request. That leads me to a question for Ms. Ashworth that would help me in some decisions. I'm sorry, which school system are you with? Are you with the Rowing? I mean, the Randolph or
Yes, I'm with Randolph County, and I think Tina Lester is on with Ashburn City.
Okay, so we got them both.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys, before you expel or suspend students from school, are they referred to the alternative school, or does the schools suspend them out of the school altogether?
For the Randolph County school system, we have a 3-layered discipline approach, so they are not automatically expelled or suspended unless it is something like a controlled substance. They do jump directly to suspension and or a weapon. But other than that, we do have layers, and we work with students and parents a lot prior to getting to suspension because we understand the importance of them being in our buildings for their education.
So it's almost as if there's a criminal offense before they're suspended from school.
Yes, sir.
Tina, is that true for your school system as well?
It is. Our approach is very similar to Randolph County's, and there would be a criminal element if we were looking at expulsion. A lot of our suspensions are short term, so anywhere between 1 to 10 days. Anything longer than a 10-day is considered a long-term suspension, and we do have other options as far as that we could potentially offer, like our long-term intervention program that is available.
Thank y'all.
I think I can kind of read into where David's going with this. So these wouldn't necessarily be anyone who's gotten into the juvenile court system at that point, right? It would just be because for those of you who are in the know, Arrington and all the others that have to sit through juvenile court, we move very slowly. So it's probably a good several months before they get into the court system. So this would be an immediate suspension directly to the structured day program rather than a court involved youth necessarily.
Correct.
It sounds like a positive opportunity for students because they would have a structured program to go to. They would have a schedule to keep and not get so used to being at home and seeing an advantage of getting into trouble at school because that's a way to go home. And a lot of students, we do see that they recognize that if I get a suspension, I'm able to stay at home and do the things that I want. And because parents' work schedules are the way that they are, normally parents are not home with them, so they're unsupervised. So this would provide a lot of structure for them and would be a huge advantage to our kids.
So it's like going back to the old JDRC, but without the physical component of it. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I can't tell if my screen is frozen or if people are responding.
And so I have a question for Mr. Floyd Johnson. And so, you know, with as far as the Boys and Girls Club goes, and I'm just asking just to be enlightened and just to know more about the program and what you guys are trying to do and achieve. What are you guys currently doing right now to serve more kids in the community? And what, you know, I'm looking for I looked over the budget and the initial request. I understand what you guys are trying to achieve, but what are you doing right now to be able to serve kids in Randolph County and Ashworth City?
So great question. So we have a club that's been there for about 20 years. We just recently moved to we're at First DNR Church on Cliff Road, right across from Lindley Park Elementary School. We're coming up on 2 years there, but we offer right now during since COVID, we've been open from 8 to 5:30, Monday through Friday. We've hired certified teachers to work during the school day, or I'm sorry, we've hired retired teachers to work with our students during the school day, and after school we've hired teachers who can come in and help with tutoring and academic success. We offer, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 primary areas. Academic success is one of our big bucket areas, good character and citizenship, and then also healthy lifestyles. And we offer probably over 24 programs throughout the course of the year. We're open after school, primarily when we're not in COVID season. We're open from 2 to 7, Monday through Friday. And then we're open from 8 to 5:30 during the summers, Monday through Friday, and for summer care. No, we don't charge a weekly fee for our children. We have an annual dues structure of $2 per year. So any boy or girl can afford the dues. Of course, for JCPC funding or other grant funding, we don't charge any membership fee for that. Our goal is to instead, we're governed by a board of directors that fundraises, and our staff write grants and support the board's efforts to fundraise. So we serve overall of about 140 kids right now in Asheboro at our Asheboro Club. This program is only one component of everything that we do with the kids. So that's where I was saying that the kids who sign up, who are referred to us for positive action, can also take part in everything that we do. Now, I've only been here, I'll be in August, I will have been here 2 years. And one of the things that I've talked with Miss Ashworth and other people about is expanding services to Randolph County. We've kind of been really just centered right on Asheboro City for the most part. But I was, as I mentioned earlier, I've met with Greg and he at Randleman, and he showed us some opportunities of spaces there. And so I got really excited about maybe we can create some satellite sites, not only for positive action, but then just for regular services for kids outside of the Asheboro City area. And then for the ones that we also bus in for our transportation for positive action.
Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, no others. Don't forget, I mean, we're going to be talking about this for the next month. So feel free, if you think of other questions, jump in there, email the programs. If you want to include everybody on the email so everybody gets to hear the response, that's great. And we can hopefully have a decision. Well, we have to have a decision in May. So anything else? Any new business? I'm sorry. Did somebody have something they wanted to add? Okay. All right. Hearing nothing, our next meeting in May, again, is very important. Please make sure that you're there. We've got a lot of things to vote on. It's going to be critical. So if you can't be there, make sure you send Wendy your proxy. Hearing nothing else, we stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.